Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm gonna do this different part videos because I'm showing you the process for this setup that I have coming up for a party, and it's a very specific setup. I will pop the inspiration picture right over here for you guys to see. So basically this is a first birthday and the client wanted a cowboy theme, like kids' first rodeo, and they requested this type of arch, the round Kiara arch and the flat square arch. I don't have that in my inventory of rentals, so I said yes, and here we are. I'm building it together, so I'm going to show you hopefully step by step of what I'm doing, and I'm going to try to record as much as I can throughout, but just know that this event is going to be in 3 weeks from today, so I gotta get started on getting things together. First thing that I'm going to show you is the materials that I got, so follow me. Okay, hi guys. So here I'm showing you, I'm basically using 2 of these insulation foam boards. Now, the foam board that I was looking for was a little bit thinner, but my Home Depot didn't have it. So they had like a thicker size, like a width. And as you can tell, this one, it's called R7.5. So the one that I wanted was the R3, but instead I used this one, and this one is thicker, but you know what, in general I do love that it's a thicker foam board, so it's a lot sturdier than the really thin one. But this is the brand. Now you can choose whichever you want, but they have different types. I just went with this one because I saw a video of a guy basically using this type of foam boards to create their arches, and I used 2 of these. These are literally 5-inch in width by 8 feet long, so it would not just fit in a regular SUV to transport it from the store. And for me, delivery was way too expensive if I had them deliver it. So I just asked a friend. He has a huge painter's van and he was able to help me bring these foam boards. I obviously picked the best that I could, but just be careful because some of them have like little dents and marks. They're very fragile. So even though it's still thick and stuff, it's still foam board. So remember, any little dent will show up. So I got 2 of these. I have this grid wall that many of you have seen before, and I needed a stencil to create that arch. So what I did is I used this one to create that arch just like this, around and cut. So I use this as my outline, and all I did is just use a pencil, traced it on my foam board, and as you can see here, this foam board, I would have just draw it and cut it. So for you guys to see my mess, it's right here. So word of advice, it's not as easy unless you got one of those heat cutters. It's not really easy to cut. I mean, you can tell. I tried just the regular saw and it was just destroying the material. Here's a little piece I did to test it. This was just all chewed up. Then I tried this blade, and it's not deep enough to cut through the thickness of this. It gave you a clean cut, but it was taking forever. Same thing with this one. So all of this is longer, but it took forever. So my best advice that I saw was literally using my Ryobi saw machine, and I used this to cut, and it cut like butter. So just get yourself one of these. You can find them at Home Depot, and you should not run into any problems. Okay guys, so once I discovered that my saw machine worked. I just set up a table station. I flattened my foam board and I proceeded to cut. And it cut just like butter. So here is not quite the final product, but getting there. Here's my arch that I cut. I don't know if you can see it from here, you guys. So here it is. Now, I had to cut also the inside, and I'm definitely saving this little piece that I cut because I think I may be able to do something with it as well. So now the next thing is, because this is foam board, it's not sturdy by no means. This is not plywood. So this is very flimsy. So you need some sort of structure to hold it. And I've been toying around with different ideas and thinking about it because I have different arch stands. And my first idea was to use my metal plates like you see right over here with my metal, my steel stand. And what I intend to do is just put some really strong gaffer's tape to secure it, and it shouldn't go anywhere, but it will look something like this. Now, then I thought to myself, wait a second, I do have Kiara stands that I have that are hollow, not quite like the grid, because if I use this, it will give me the squares in the middle, but I do have my regular, right here from behind, my regular arch, you see? So then I thought, well, what if, I'm sorry for moving the camera too much, you guys, but this is where I'm at. I have only one arm on the other way. So then I thought, what if I use this to give it some support and attach it to my metal piece, and that way I have something to work with. You know what I mean? Including balloons, like I can attach balloons to these. So the way to like secure it, I think, I'm not sure yet, I think I'm gonna put some adhesive hooks and tie a 260 to here. I don't want to do duct tape because I don't want to go to the side of it. Like, I'm not sure. And you see it's very at the edge of it. So I have to figure a way to hook them up. And this is kind of what I'm working with right now. But so far, I am so happy with the results. And this is another thing. This is a 7-foot tall arch. I don't know, the inspirational picture was a little shorter, so I may take away a little bit half here to bring it down. So instead of using my arch, this is a 7-foot arch, I will be using my 6-foot arch, just bring it a little bit down, because there has to be some sort of height difference between my round arch and my square arch, you know, and I don't want everything to be super tall where it won't fit in the room. So the next piece of the puzzle is basically cutting this square, which is already pretty much, you know, a square. I don't have to work it so much, but I just need to like cut a bit so that I can make it tall enough where I'm happy with it. And I will apply the same concept with my stands. So I will probably put 2 stands on each to stand it straight up and attach it. So that should not be a problem. Okay, you guys, so what I just wanted to say was, it's safe to say that this type of foam boards, although they're easier to handle, I will only do this for an indoor party, which this time it is. This is an indoor event, so I don't have to worry about the wind, the outdoors, any of that. And I will also weight my my stands like I normally do, so that would not be a problem. There will be balloons cascading down to cover them, so that's not the problem at all. But I would not use these type of things for an outdoor event. Absolutely not, because with the weather, they cannot get wet and they cannot deal with the wind. So just keep that in mind. Also, what I did is I intend to paint these. So I've never tried it. So what I'm gonna do is use one of the extra cutouts that I have, those pieces over there, and I'm gonna try to paint it a little bit with a few coats of paint and see how it does before I try to do anything with this that I might regret. So the paint that I got is just a quart of just regular basic bare paint, and in the colors that I needed to match my event. So this one I think is like a cream, and then I got a very chocolate brown to match it. So I just need a quart. I need a couple of, I don't even think I need this much, but I always get this because if I'm already using a color, I might as well just collect paint because it's gonna come up again on another event if somebody likes it. So I might as well just, you know, get what I need instead of like those tiny little cans that they're not enough. So I like mine to be very well saturated so that the paint, you know, doesn't show any imperfections, and it's great. So I got 2 cans of this on the colors, and again, that's just Home Depot, so it's not, you know, anything out of the ordinary, but so far I'm so happy with these. You guys, truth be told, if it was up to me, I would love to get things like this that are made out of plywood. Plywood, number 1, is expensive. Number 2 is heavy. And number 3, you have to find a place to fit it in your car. And wood is really hard. I'm not saying that these are not gonna be hard to fit in, but wood is just heavy. So like, I've done it because, take it from me, I have done another Kiara wall. I don't know if you remember, the splits in half so I can transport it. And that split in the middle always bothers the heck out of me. Like, I'm a perfectionist. So, you know, it is okay for some of my clients. I tell them exactly what they're gonna get so they don't get disappointed. But that little line in the middle just bothers me. So I've always wanted to try this. I was just nervous. And we'll see. I mean, cross fingers. I don't want to jinx myself. But so far, the process is good. Okay, so now that we are here at the venue, you can tell we were one of the first ones to arrive, and I'm building my arch frames so that they can serve as my structure for my foam boards. I will attach those to my foam board pieces, that way they can stand up straight and not fall. I also have my balloons bagged, ready to go, everything prepared and prepped ahead of time. And also I personalized the square wall to read Lucas's first rodeo, since that's the theme for this event. And here you can see them. We're ready to go. Now I'm moving on to my balloon garland. So basically this is the base of my garland, and all I did was attach my command hook to my backdrop, and I just simply hang them there, cascading down, and you see me just attaching the clusters one by one with a 260. And that's pretty much it, you guys. I'm just fluffing the garland so that it can look very organic. So as you can see, I do all my big clusters first, and then eventually I'll move on to my little mini garlands to give it that organic look. Hi guys. Okay, so as you saw, I worked with my setup, and I'm gonna pop the video here of what the final look was. I just wanted to answer a few of the questions. So the venue started at 2. It was from 2 to 6. So I always give myself 2 hours prior to setup, and turns out I showed up a little bit earlier because I was really trying to miss the rain. And luckily for me, there was somebody at the venue that had opened the doors. So the place was empty when I was setting up, which is good because I just don't like it when people hover over you, or you have to work around family members and stuff and you don't want to bother them. Or sometimes when they're seeing that you're building this stuff, they get worried or scared because they don't see the final product yet. And you know, it can be a little bit intimidating when you're putting a plain garland before you start zhuzhing it up, because they think that that's the final look, you know. But for this venue, it turned out beautifully. I added the 2 walls, the garlands, and I also had rented her the cylinder, and I personalized that cylinder with like a cow print decals. So I use my Cricut for that. I use my Cricut for the wording that says Lucas's first rodeo, since that was the theme. And the client was so lovely. She loved the look of it. And something to keep in mind is always give yourself, number 1, enough time for setup. Number 2, I'm always like stepping back away from my setup to look, and then move forward and step back again and look, because you know what, when you're setting up balloons and it's in front of you, you don't get the whole look of it. I also take pictures towards the end before I leave, not just for my marketing purposes, but sometimes what you see in front of you is very different than to what it shows in your pictures. Sometimes in your pictures picks up different things. So I look at it, and if I need to fix one thing here and there, I'll do it. Now for this particular setup, the venue was from 2 to 6. So I came back and picked up my my arches and everything. The customer does not get to keep anything except for balloons, and she just kept a chunk of the balloons. The rest I had to pop them. So work the price of the cleanup in your quotation, because you may have to do that at times. But other than that, she was lovely. The family loved the pictures, and I'm gonna pop a few of the pictures so you can see here, and the final video of what the venue looked like when the client actually, you know, brought her own props. And I think she had like those Western wheels with hay. She provided those. That was not mine. My only rentals were the arches, which was the foam boards, the balloons, and the cylinder. But beyond that, everything else was the clients. And I hope you guys enjoy this quick video on behind the scenes for a balloon setup. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.